We are so strong.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of the Soul Strong podcast.
Another episode.
Here we go. This is the sneaky. We're going to talk about a sneaky sin that gets in there. But yeah, anyway,
That everyone is guilty of.
everyone, and it's almost like, what's the word? We don't pay attention to it very much because it's kind of like
Because the devil's sneaky.
the devil
He's
is
like, I want
super
you to be
sneaky.
doing this 24/7 every day. Never be happy.
Never ever
Always
be happy.
want more. So let's create a whole societal structure around you doing this.
So we are talking about the final commandment, in case you haven't catched on yet. Catched on? Is that a
Caught
word?
on.
Oopsie.
I didn't notice until you were like, is that a word? And I realized.
I was like, whoops. Caught on. This is the quiet sin no one talks about. So this is coveting,
coveting.
which seems
Yeah.
like such an old school word,
It is.
but it is still such a current.
What's a normal word? A modern day word for coveting.
Jealous.
Jealousy, comparing,
Comparison,
wishing,
yeah.
wanting.
It's like we can't really celebrate someone else because we're like, oh, we're so happy for you. We really wish that we went through that as well, or we got that, or we did that, whatever it is.
And is it wanting something that's not yours? Is it that?
Wanting something
'Cause it's
that
not just-
belongs to someone else.
That's like, it's not just being hopeful or wishing like, I hope I have that one day, but it's like a genuine jealousy.
right. Yeah. Because it stems from the fact that someone has something that you wish you had that. So the commandment is like, do not covet your neighbor's wife, servant, like livestock, whatever they have. You can't wish that you had that. So it's like saying, I wish that they weren't their wife. I wish she was my
So
wife.
basically, the commandment is just be grateful for what you have. Is that the opposite? Don't want other things.
Yeah.
Be happy with your own life. Be
Yeah.
content. Cool.
Yes. And scene.
Because it just was the end. Hope you enjoyed it. We've defined coveting. No, I just feel like it's such a simple rule.
Yeah.
And it's also something that is like, we're all doing it. So it's like, what? That's a commandment. It's not like killing someone or lying about something. It's don't want things.
Okay.
How intense.
I wanna-
It's so simple.
I
But,
know.
like, let's unpack it.
I know, because I want to read to you this commentary, which I was going to read later, but I feel like it goes into what you're saying. And this commentary says that this commandment stands at the root of the other 9 because it addresses the heart.
Yes.
Whereas,
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
I need to calm down.
where
That's
thoughts determine actions. Now, it says most other ancient laws deal with actions, but not the motives behind the actions.
Yes.
So when you're talking about
That's so good.
do not lie, there's an action. Do not murder, there's an action. Do not commit adultery, there's an action. But this goes to the root, goes to the heart, because God sees the heart, and it is upon our heart that God desires to place his character.
Yeah. Great. I love it.
And I never saw it from that perspective that this was about the internal
Yeah.
person, not so much the actions that we're doing.
Yeah.
And it felt really like we need to talk about this because this is like literally marketing, advertising companies. This is what they thrive on, is making something look so good that you will stop at nothing to
And
get it.
Our human nature is to want what we can't have.
Yeah.
Or to constantly be looking for what's next.
Yeah.
Whether it's because of the world we live in. I don't know if 100 years ago, if you were living on a farm, if it was our human nature to want something or what's next. Maybe not. Maybe
No, I think it was because this commandment was made like thousands and thousands of years ago.
Don't want livestock.
Yeah.
Don't want the wife and the servant.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it is part of our human nature.
Yeah.
No matter what circumstances or time period we're in.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Wow.
Because it's like, it is going, like what you said before, it is us thinking we're just not grateful with what we have.
So good.
But it's seeing it as like what the other person has. Why can't we just be happy for them? that they have it, that they have, and if we want to be like materialistic, it could be they have that house or they have that car or they have that job. But like going further is when it starts to eat away at us. And there's so many, like the show that this really comes to mind is Palm Royale with
oh my gosh, yes,
Kristen Wiig, where it's just such a, I mean, you could probably see it in every show.
She's
but
just
like
desperate to be living the life that all of those ladies are living. Yeah.
And those particular lives of the other ladies, they're not crash high. Yeah. There's a lot of God, and not to put other people down, but it's just like saying we strive for something that isn't actually that good in the first place. Yeah.
Or isn't everything you thought it would be.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. It's luxurious. I feel like a lot of the things we're coveting these days is luxury.
Yeah.
And like even sometimes just I'm jealous of the fact that they've got the money to do that or to buy that thing or to do that thing. Do you know what I mean? Like
I do know what you mean.
It's having the money. It's like living the lifestyle you want because you can financially afford it.
Yes. And some people can, but there's a lot of people that actually can't afford that lifestyle and they're living.
And yet they're doing it.
They're doing it because they're living on credit or they're living in like mind-boggling debt. I only say this because when I was listening to Dave Ramsey, who's like a financial guru, he's in one of his books, he's like, you can't just be comparing yourself to the Joneses because more than likely the Joneses can't even afford the lifestyle that they're living because we are living in so much excess. So like a car, for example, oh my gosh, this is like kind of like a derail of conversation. But he's saying like, if we want a particular car, we instantly think we got to get a loan for the car and we do car repayments. But he's like, well, what if you bought a $7,000 car, like saved up $7,000, bought the $7,000 car and drove it for 2 or 3 years while you saved up another amount of money and then sold that car and put that towards what you've saved and then get a $14,000 car. And then over time, then you can get a $25,000 car and you keep building up to the point that you can get the nice car that you want, but it's fully yours. You don't have to, do repayments because repayments really like, they suck the wealth out of us because we're paying way more in interest and all of that. Anyway, the point of that is that we are looking at these people who can afford these lives, but we actually have no idea what their financial status is. Like, and I'm not saying that this is the case for all wealthy people, but we think that that's what we want when we really don't know what kind of life they're living anyway.
Yeah.
We just went straight in.
Yeah, we did. I was thinking that too. We really did.
All right. Well, let's do a bit of a mini game.
I was going to say, let's reel it back to the opener.
So what's the last thing you saw online that made you think, oh, I wish my life looked like that?
I'm not on social media, so
lucky you.
I'm free of this problem. No, honestly, it's one of the many reasons I got off social media because, like you said, marketing and advertising and everything, that's all my Instagram feed was. I was seeing less and less of people that I genuinely cared about and was using Instagram to stay not in touch, but to see their life and to keep updated on their kids and the things that they're doing. That was really why I held on to Instagram for as long as I did. But my feed was just sponsored. And I would get sucked into it all the time or get sick of it and be like, oh, there's nothing good on Instagram anymore, because it was just all that. So I think it was probably just things that I wanted to buy because it was marketed really well and all the algorithms are tailored to my style, my aesthetic, the things that I like. So even if it was stuff that I didn't need, I wanted it because it looked good, not because I needed it.
I think ultimately that's probably like a key line that what do we actually need? And honestly, we don't really need much.
No, you literally don't. You just need.
We're not talking about food and shelter. We're talking about like the excess that we're living in.
Just need clothes to clothe you. And you just need a few different types for the different seasons. Like you don't need, your kids need just the basics. You need the basics. Makeup, you don't need all the different types of lipstick colors and all the different shades of eyeshadow. No,
I'm like, you
no.
got me there. I've got like 10 or 15 different lipstick shades that I'm like, but yes, I
But
do.
I feel like you do use all of them.
I use a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, I think, if that's actually something you're using all the time in different ways, then it's being used, you know. But to have just stuff just sitting there over the years, I've just found I've got just stuff sitting in my home that I just don't need. And I'm pulling away from holding on to things because I might need it one day, and less of, if you sat in my drawer for 6 months, I clearly don't need you. So in the bin you go, you know, and not buying that thing again the next time it looks shiny or pretty in the store because I want it, you know. But we don't need much. We really don't need much. And I even going back to the whole repayments thing, both my husband and I, we both have the same mind about, if we can't afford it and we don't really need it desperately, then it's just not something we can, I would love that. Wouldn't it be nice, you know? But I'm not going to spend time being sucked in those repayments if we can live without it. Like,
Yeah.
and
I agree.
sometimes I'm more of the spender than he, or I am always more of the spender than he is.
Yeah, but you're more the spender of like everyday things. But when he buys something, this is typical guys. Guys will spend way more money because what they need is always more expensive.
Their hobbies are more expensive than ours. Yeah. And we're doing a lot of micro spending.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very true.
That's a good word. Micro spending.
And that's honestly the killer. The micro spending financially is actually, if you stop and look through life. So that's why I think with this whole commandment, it talks to the heart, but God is like, this is going to impact you in so many layers,
So
in
true.
so many different ways, not just your heart and your character and your personality, but your finance, your lifestyle, the way you live. And then all of a sudden you're trapped in this, I've got to keep up on all the payments or all the things that I want or want to commit to or have said I want to buy. And then you're in that kind of hamster wheel rat race. And I think following this commandment, is just like just pulling you out of that and bringing you back to simplicity and back to the things that matter.
Yeah. Totally. And our Uncle Werner, he always says that commandments are divided into like 2 sections. One is how to love God, and the other one is how to live in community, how to love others. And when we do live in community, we understand that we don't need to want what someone else has. Going back to the shopping thing, I don't do much shopping lately because I am trying to be frugal and trying to just be like, no, we wear what we've got and things like that. But it was my birthday recently, so I went shopping. That's my favorite thing to do on my birthday. And I noticed how much more conservative, maybe the word is, I am when I don't have Afterpay anymore. Because that's one thing, I got rid of Afterpay. Like at the beginning of the year, that was my at the beginning of last year, it was like my goal. Like I'm getting rid of Afterpay. And so everything I bought on my birthday, like I had birthday money and, you know, like I had saved for that and that was what people gave me as gifts. But I realized that when I have to pay for the whole amount up front, I was like just real cautious. But it was good though. Like I didn't feel like I missed out on anything. And if anything, I said to Zane, I bought sandals, I bought sunnies, I bought pajamas. Like it was all the things that I wanted to buy, but I got them at really good prices. And I don't know, it was just a different mindset to when I had Afterpay. It was just so easy to be like, oh, well, it's only $30 a fortnight, or it's only like whatever, 50 a fortnight, whatever, which we justify in our head because we want that. But when we're paying it all up front, oh my goodness, it's such a mindset shift. Okay, I still am on social media. So the last thing that I saw online that I thought, oh, I love that so much. I randomly stumbled across this girl who loves, like, I don't really love a lot of clutter, but she buys all these cute little things and she makes like she made a coffee bar. She's got all these and she loves pink. So a lot of her stuff is pink and all that, which I think is cute for her. Like I'm not. Yeah. But she's got these like disco lights that she puts on and I was like, oh, I want that. And I live with boys. Like I'm surrounded by boys. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'm like thinking like, how can I get, and it's just this little thing that she has that she turns on and it just puts the lights all over the walls. And obviously when she's filming,
What is it
it's
for?
like golden hour. It's just decoration.
So like she's hanging out at her home and she's got these lights going on.
Yeah, like it's the corner of her.
Why
I
does
think this
living with boys matter?
Because it's like really like girly.
Yeah, but if it's what you want, if you like it,
Well,
it
she's
doesn't
got
have
it in
to
her
be
kitchen
all the time.
Yeah, so I just thought in my study room, because I have my own study room now, like
Yeah.
my little office space.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to get little lights like that I can just turn on, and like they're like these beautiful. But anytime I'm wearing something sparkly and I'm in the car, the light catches it and it like throws it all over the car.
Yeah.
And Hunter's like, "Mommy, your sparkles are on the roof." I love it. Anyway, that was more of just like, I just loved her so much. Something you used to envy when you were younger.
Probably like the clothes that older girls were wearing at church.
Oh yeah.
I loved their fashion. There was 2 girls in particular that I loved everything they wore, their style. It was just like, it felt like me, like what I would want to wear. And relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like seeing there was like 1 or 2 couples that to this day they're still married and have amazing relationship that I always looked up and I was like, oh, I want that.
That's
I
cool.
want that relationship.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Clothes and a man can be more of a female desire.
I was probably envious of like skinny girls, like their bodies. Like insecurity was huge for me, like in my body as a teenager, because I feel like I grew in weird times. Like I feel like my body didn't grow. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like that awkward, lanky stage, because I was like tall, but I wasn't skinny. Like, but then I looked back at photos and I was like so
I was gonna
skinny.
say, this is your perception.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you probably were physically maturing right when everyone else was, but the way you saw yourself was not the way you saw everyone else.
Right.
So just nothing was aligned.
And even like I would compare myself to my friends, and at the time I used to think they were so much skinnier. So, but then like even the other day I went through my year 12 photos and I look the same size as them. Maybe I'm bigger than a couple of them.
Yeah.
But like it's just amazing how your perspective changes like over life.
That's me and one of our cousins. She thinks that I'm skinnier than her, but we're the same size.
Oh, really?
Like she's always like, no, but look at our legs. And we put them together. And I'm like, they're the same. And I'm always like, it's just in your head because we are the same size. Or like we fit each other's clothes and all of that. And I'm like, we're the same size.
But I think that goes back to what this is all about, is that like we talked about, this is what is the word that the commentary uses? This addresses the heart. It's the internal dialogue, I guess, of our view of the world. Because when I like now with my perspective and wisdom, I think I should have just loved the body that I had.
Yeah.
Because I was never going to have that body again. It was like the prime time.
And we're constantly being told that.
Yeah.
Love your body, because you're going to look back and say, oh, I was skinny then. Or I was young then, or pretty then, or whatever.
And we had like, our mum was always really affirming of our bodies. Like she always, like even Nana, they were always taking photos of us in bikinis and we were so like mortified. And they're like, one day you're going to look back on these. Now I don't really want to take photos in a bikini, but like I still see that understanding of like it's all about perspective and how that changes us.
I remember going to your church, I think it was last year or the year before, and the sermon was on the prodigal son and how his whole perspective on his own identity was a delusion of image, and how when we're living in sin, it's not that we're necessarily living apart from God, but we're living under a delusion of our identity and our image as to how God sees us. And I had never heard that take on it. It was so good. But I feel like this is what, like this directly, like the prodigal son was just like desperate for a certain life and a certain lifestyle that he thought the grass is greener on that side, and ended up just as unhappy, if not worse. But this whole, spirit of comparison, coveting, everything, you're living in a delusion. The more and more you want what you can't have, or the more and more you see things and go, if I have that, then I'll be happy. Or if I have that top, then I'll look good. Or if I have those jeans, or if I have that kitchen, or if I have that car or house, whatever, you're just living in a delusion that that thing is going to fulfill you. But really, it's not.
Wow.
Might make you happy.
That's interesting.
I know a new kitchen would make me happy because we're living in a reno house, so we don't really have a kitchen right now. Having a kitchen, my dream kitchen, would make me happy, but that's not going to make me content in my soul.
Sure.
It's just going to materialistically and comfort-wise make me happy. I'm getting along just fine in the no kitchen that we have now. But it's that idea. It's a delusion of if I have that, then, you know, but really it's not contentment.
I like the way you call it a delusion. I think that's a really, it's a challenging way to look at it. Yeah. I think
it's like delulu. I love that. It's like the language that people are using now. You know when words become a thing? Yeah. I'm really just delulu.
I love it. So this is the final commandment. It's actually easy to overlook. And I actually did overlook this commandment for so long because I thought, why would I want my neighbor's wife? I took it so literally that I was like, oh, well, it's servants and livestock. Who cares? But it's so prominent because I don't think we talk about it enough because it's easy to just dismiss it. But the fact that our culture is actually built on making sure, and that's people's drive for so many things. That is how people are going to want to become the best in their industry, why they're going to want to make a business or even just get to the top of if they're a lawyer, they got to get so many, because competition, and people always say a little bit of healthy competition is a good thing. And it's like, yeah, but not to the point where we are unsettled if we don't achieve a certain thing because someone else achieved it. It's not like we all gave it our best shot. It's like, no, they won and it should have been me.
It made me a better person.
Right.
Like I've increased in skill, or I've increased in knowledge or something. So it's all good.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about here. Yeah.
No. So there's actually some scripture readings that talks about how God does see the heart. And I don't know if there was one that stood out to you.
Not really. They all feel either quite intense, or
these scriptures do feel like we're exposed to God, like he uncovers all of them. So Genesis 6:5, it says that the Lord saw the wickedness of the human race and every inclination, the thoughts of the human heart was only evil at that time.
And the fact that the commandments were written well into the Bible,
Sure.
They're not in the first book,
No.
or they're not in the chapter 1. Do you know what I mean? It's after time. So God's given us a chance to live, to show our true colors, and then written commandments.
And he's like, oh gosh, they're not getting
he's
it.
They need this, they need this, they need this, they need this.
And really the commandments were written because the Israelites came out of Egypt being slaves for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So they had no idea how to live in community. And so God was like, these are your parameters. And rather than us seeing the commandments as thou shalt not, it's actually saying we need to learn how to live in love and loving our community. And because of that, we're not going to want what someone else has. We're not going to want to murder them. We're not going to want to do that because we're living in community and seeing them with love.
And the Israelites were also living in a very specific circumstance. So I think a lot of people can go, oh, but they were in the desert, but time and time again, we see the Israelites quite literally only being able to see what's right in front of them. And they had a cloud of fire. They were literally following the elements. They had miracles happening all the time for them. Yet every day or every week, there was something new that they were either whinging about or not happy about or falling short in some kind of faith-related way that they just couldn't just trust God that he was going to get them through because he had been doing it pretty much daily. But we're like that. People,
there's
it's
so many
they're
parallels.
In the desert. There's it's such a specific series of events and all of that, but it can easily just be overlapped onto our lives and applied as a metaphor that we're exactly the same.
Absolutely.
We can be receiving miracle and providence and everything from God and still come Friday or another day, but what are we going to do, or what's happening, or, and so even though it's such a far removed story, that we're in the desert, we're just them, the next chapter, and God coming in with these laws. Yes, they were relevant to the context of that time period, but like that's that 1 Samuel 16:7, the Lord does not look at things people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. I think it's also talking about his ability to see beyond the here and now, which is what all the Israelites could do, which is all we can do, is the here and now. So not coveting, speaking to the heart, is us going, what's the big picture here? And that's all he's trying to get us to do, is just keep thinking about the big picture. Don't get lost in what's in front of you right now.
Yeah. That's really great, Chris. I love that. We just get so like hyper-focused on the details of today or the struggles of this season, and we're not looking at the bigger picture. We're not looking at the fact that, really in light, like if we're going to just use a really simple, silly example, it could be a house or something that someone lives in, or it could be a car that they're driving. But I actually think, like, in the perspective of life, what is one thing or another? Like, I'm not putting down people who have awesome houses and awesome cars. I think that's so great. And a lot of people have worked their butts off to get there. I think that's more the attitude that I want to take, is appreciate what people have done to get to where they've gotten to.
Totally.
And being the kind of people that celebrates other people's wins. We've talked about that so many times on this podcast. I just think, even as a sisterhood, like even as women, we're not known for being celebratory of other people's wins. We're known for jealousy. We're known for comparison. We're known for, it's like that tall poppy syndrome. But actually, like, what if we got around, the example for me was, we have some people in our world who moved into their home, and they were 50, and it was their first house that they've ever owned. They've rented all their lives, and they gave us a tour of their absolutely beautiful house. And Zane and I walked away, and we were so inspired by their story, because the whole time they were crediting the way to God, that God had led them and God had provided and God was faithful and all of that. And I just felt so like proud. I find it weird to say I'm proud of people when they're older than me or when I've had nothing to do with their story. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. But it was such a beautiful thing to acknowledge that other people, everyone is on a journey, and they're living in a win, a huge win in their lives. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing.
We were looking at getting us a house. We're currently living in a house, and you know this, you're on the journey with us. And then the house next door goes up for sale. We go and have a look, because we were just wanting to get an investment property. But then we ended up falling in love with this house, and the house was like the best upgrade ever from what we're living in, a renovation house. Like I said before, I don't have a kitchen. I have like a sink and an oven. And I think at one point we were using a trestle table as a bench. And to think that if we got this house, we'd go from this to not having to renovate anymore and living in this beautiful kind of like forever home, which came out of nowhere, wasn't the plan. We didn't end up getting it. But the whole time, the whole process, I felt like there was this tension between, I want this house because it'll make my life easier. I want this house because I've arrived to the forever home instantly overnight. We'll be paying through the nose for it, with repayments and whatever. And then I think eventually getting to the point, when you start to feel, and we were praying daily all the time, like, God, if this is from you, then give it to us. If it's not, take it away. Like, we were just so leaning into, because it was a really big jump for us, and we didn't end up getting it. And we have to stare at that house every day. Like I look through my sink and I look up and there's the house right there.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
And it's fine now. But in the beginning, we were so disappointed we didn't get it. But the whole time God's like, so are you not going to be happy with what you have now?
Yeah, exactly.
Is this home that you have right now, renovations and all, not a blessing? Is this home not still able to be all the things that you have been dreaming and envisioning slowly over time and slowly achieving? And of course, all the answers to that is yes, this home is still a blessing. Yes, this home is still enough. Yes, we outgrow this home. Yes. Yes, there's work to be done. There's so much more savings to put aside so we can continue doing the project after project. But it was really that testing of this material, like this earthly treasure that, you know, if we had it, God could still use it. It's still a vessel. It's still a home we can open to people and to live comfortably. I don't think God's not wanting us to have the desires of our heart or not wanting us to live comfortably, but he also doesn't want that to be the thing that fills us or the thing that validates our identity or our existence or the way we feel about ourselves or the way we look. Is our home and our family aesthetic?
Right.
Is it Instagrammable? You know, all of that stuff.
And that's a beautiful way to view things. And there's a lot of content that is out on social media now about like, let's normalize what the non-aesthetic homes look like.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of women who are posting homes that are older, they're not renovated.
Yeah.
And they're not even all like white or neutral colors.
Yeah.
Like they've got wood tones and like, you know, all of that stuff. I actually like watched a YouTube video of like this guy who's like, what's happening to the color in our world? And
I've seen
like,
a few of
have
those.
you seen those?
Yeah.
It's like the old school Home Alone house, for example. It's like colors and all vibrant. And now a new home, the same home today is like white and all that. And I was like, what is happening? Like,
and the kids, they're like, why are we taking color away from our kids? Because clothing, toys, everything is like, is it neutral? Is it all aesthetic? Is it all in one color scheme?
Yeah, absolutely.
And to have plastic colored toys and mismatched clothes and all of that, it's a little bit like, oh, you know, it's looked frowned upon. And we're so wrapped up in whether we can present our life perfectly in a picture or in a video. And we're totally missing on, are you working on your life? Like, are you working on your spiritual life, yourself, your parenting? Like, are you paying attention to the big picture of who you are as people, your village, your community? Because that's where all the energy is going into, whether you can post this or not. People are like, even teenagers, like with Snapchat and everything, it's photos of themselves. And do I look good in that photo? But you try and have a conversation or try and teach a lesson around your identity and who you are and the big picture and everything. And it's like, I'm zoned out. I don't care anymore. This is boring. This is not useful for me. And that's really sad.
Yeah. And it is going back to living in community as opposed to living for ourselves. And what is it that benefits me? Okay, so should we do a rapid fire where coveting shows up?
Yeah.
All right. Homes, we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
Bodies and appearance, we actually already have talked about that. Brought it up in a whole personal situation.
Going down memory lane.
Ministry roles? What do you reckon?
I didn't get that. Like, as in, you wish you had that role in ministry that someone else has been appointed?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, something that comes to mind is that, you know, because we're singers, so nearly every single, well, maybe 90% of the times when people would come up to us after the concert, people would say, I wish I could sing like that. And I always used to think, wow, singing is really like coveted. Like, people really want to sing well. I'm talking about everyone can sing, but to sing well.
People say that to me, like, why aren't you a singer? Why aren't you doing that for a living? And I'm like, do you know how many better singers are out there?
Yeah.
Like, I'm amateur, I'm average, like I'm not even good compared to what is out there. But for them, their level is less, so they think you're everything. And you're just like, no.
And I see that people think to serve the Lord can sometimes look like preaching and singing. And if you don't preach or sing, like that's
How
why I've
else
been
can
such a massive advocate of there are so many ways to serve in church. Make sure we're highlighting all the ways. Like I was at a Bible college, and for a whole term I was on car park duty. And when I first saw car park, I was like, car park? I loved it. It was the best because all I had to do was wave and smile at people when they were coming in and showing them spots. It felt awesome that you're the first person that they encounter when they come to church. Like it was not that I wanted to be special, but it just felt like an easy, nice way to just welcome people in. I mean, my extroverted heart, like I thrived in that kind of thing. So parenting, marriage, I mean, you mentioned that before, that there's marriage goals that people have or couple goals.
I definitely think there would be people who, you know, when they observe how a husband treats a wife or the vice versa, why doesn't my husband do that for me?
Yeah.
Or why doesn't my wife do that for me? Or I wish my wife, I don't know, made my lunches the way this girl does.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, things like that.
I read this post one day of
Or even
this
just having a
girl.
happy marriage, coveting the fact that they look happy.
Yeah.
And I'm not, because we fight all the time. Or not me personally, but I'm saying that's maybe what people think.
And this girl said that she would see all these like men post about their wives, and she started getting really upset that her husband never posted about her. I totally relate because my husband never posts.
Why? It's not their personality.
Right. No. But I relate to the sense of like, oh, why don't you ever like post or whatever? But then she said, she has this favorite packet of chips. And one day she came home and there was 2 packets of those. And the husband just goes, oh, I noticed that you were running low, so I bought you some. And she posted, the post was the photo of the chips. And she was like, it was just a real, she didn't say slap in the face, but she was saying something like it was like an awakening that her husband doesn't have to post to show that he loves her. And no one else needs to know about that. Like it's fine. It's fine for people that want to do it. That's great.
Yeah.
But we can't compare that, oh, well, their husband posts about them. How come my husband doesn't post about me?
That whole
but she feels so loved because he bought the thing that he knew she loved. Which I thought was awesome.
That whole thing of things needing to be posted or not, like there's a very real tension, I feel like, if your friend or your family or whatever hasn't posted about you on social media for your birthday or whatever, they didn't really wish you happy birthday. You know, like that's, for a lot of people, they measure the love of the people around them or their self-worth by who's posting and how many reshares they can have. And all of that, I'm like, it's so far gone in what it's all supposed to really be about. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Friend groups, careers, finances.
Big one.
Huge.
Big
huge
one.
ones. Seasons of life.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
That's a huge one too.
I think one of the things we were talking about just over the weekend was with a friend is that because Zane and I were in a volunteer ministry for so many years, we had to reconcile really quickly that we weren't on the same page as other people our age. So other couples that were, while we were still volunteering, they were like buying homes, they were getting married, having children. And we came out and we had like not much to our name. We had traveled the world, which was pretty amazing, and we got to do what we loved. And so we had to really understand that we are running in our own season. We're running in our own lane in life. And it didn't have to be oh, well, they've been working for 10 years. We've been working for 10 years, but we're in such a different, like even your job will lead you to different
opportunities
and also whether, like, there's a younger couple that we're friends with. They're way younger than us. They're on their they own 2 homes and they've got 2 kids and they're just killing it. And I just have so much respect for them because I'm like, good on you guys. Like you worked your butt off, you dug deep and you just really did things. And that was their priority, to like own a home and then own a second home and things like that.
Yeah.
But it definitely was something that, and I don't know if I'm completely free of it now. Like I still think sometimes I wish if I just wanted to go on a holiday, I could just book a holiday and flip and go. That's something that I've really had to wrestle with the Lord lately, of like, still my heart that I'm not saddened by something that I can't do. rather be grateful of what I do have.
Yeah.
And acknowledge the fact that, not that, oh, well, I've got stuff that other people don't have. No. Don't even compare at all. Just acknowledge of like, what are the cool opportunities that I get to have?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think there's a time and a place for everything. And there's a season for everything. And you have to be so aware of what season you're in. Like, not your circumstance was very specific, but I think it relates to everyone. Like, my husband and I, we had a kid straight away. So we didn't get we were married for 4 or 5 years before we started having children. So like I worked full time for ages and we're both earning we had kids from the get-go. And so I was in and out of I don't even have long service leave hours because I have maternity breaks, and you have to be working consecutively for 5 years to start earning long service leave. So things like that, climbing in my career, you have to climb a ladder to earn more money as you progress. Every time you climb the next step, you get a pay rise and all of that. I'm way further. It took me a long time to catch up to where my friends were earning the top dollar for a few years before I was, because of that reason, because I had children, and so there's been many times where I've just had to go, well, this is my lot in life. This was my journey. This is the way it's landed. There's nothing I can do to change it. And even if I did have all those things, there'd be something else that I was wishing I could have, some other version of life that would appeal to me, because that's our human nature. So no matter how much you can wish for things, there's always something else that's going to be competing with that. Yeah. And it's just all about going, what you just said, be content with what you have, with the things that are in front of you, because it's actually enough.
It is enough.
And don't get me wrong, I know there are people that are actually struggling in terms financially, like not knowing how they're going to feed their family that week. And there's genuine real struggle. I'm not talking about that at all, but just talking about the fact that if you stop for a minute and count your blessings, you've actually got everything you need. Really, you do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I love the passage of scripture that Paul says, I've learned to be content.
Yeah.
And there's this old song that mom and dad used to sing back in the day, like, I have learned to trust in Jesus. Do you know that one? Is it before your time?
Maybe.
It's definitely a 90s song. But it's definitely that sense of like learning. And that's a important word, that it's not something, we're not just, oh, you're a Christian, God has blessed you, you should just be content. It's like, no, we're learning to be content. We're learning to understand that there is highs and lows, there's ebbs and flows, there's light and shade in so many situations. But when we learn to be content in who God is, then talking about the bigger picture, then we put ourselves within that perspective. And it's like, all right, because of who he is, I know who I am.
Yeah.
And that starts to shape and morph our worldview, because a lot of it is the delulu of life.
It is delulu. And none of it matters. You can't take any of it to heaven with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can only take souls.
So as I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Just some practical takeaways. Something that's been coming up so much is gratitude, and how gratitude actually shifts our mindset so when we see something that we wish someone else had, we got to name it and be like, oh, okay, I'm actually coveting here. I'm actually trying to ride into someone else's lane and wish that I live their life. But then if we flip it on its head and say, okay, well, I may not have that job, but I do have a job, and this job is able to provide for me. It's just a perspective shift of what do we have.
Yeah.
There's also like another point here that it says reduce triggers, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways that we can
get off social media.
Walk away with.
If we can ever learn anything from me, guys, get off social media. Honestly, I know it's the hardest thing, and it took so much time for me to gradually get there, because I thought, how can I live my life without it? Honestly, it's an addiction.
Yeah, but we barely see photos of your kids now.
But we hang out.
I know. But there's people in our family that we don't hang out with all the time.
It encourages like real connection. It encourages a genuine reaching out of how are you. And if you don't get to see those people, then what are you doing about it? If you really care about that person, if you really love them, if you really want to see how their life is going, call them, speak to them, message them, ask them to send you photos. Like there are so many other ways to keep in touch with the people than social media.
Kidding. Yeah, it's not just about that.
I was the same. I was exactly the same. And now I'm like, it's on me. If I'm missing out on anyone's life that I genuinely care about, it's on me. I need to make those connections and spend that time with that person, even if it is through FaceTime or through, digital stuff. But I cannot tell you how much, and even when you get rid of social media, you'll find yourself getting on your phone, just looking at it going like,
where do I go?
Where do I go? And me going, oh, there's nothing there for me to do. I'm just addicted. And that's why I'm trying to find something to do on my phone.
But it is a trigger that causes us with like doom scrolling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've found that Instagram Reels are one of the worst things to be on.
Yeah.
Whereas like, this makes me sound like such a boomer, but Facebook Reels are awesome. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I flip and love Michael McIntyre, the comedian.
Oh, yeah.
And they will put like long videos of his on the Reels. And so when I'm like doing stuff or like, because I don't just want to watch the 3 or 6 second Reels, the ones where they just loop over and you just like read the caption. It's like, I don't want to. Like sometimes I'm watching something because I want to be entertained. Or they'll have like little snippets of people's podcasts, or they tell like true crime stories or stuff like that. So it's like longer form videos. And I know it makes me sound like such a boomer, but it's like, I actually like hear a story or something like that where it's not just like, look at what I'm doing and let my reel play over and over again so I can get lots of views. Like that kind of like, it's a bit of a turn off for me. Or even YouTube shorts are like so funny. Like
I've never watched YouTube shorts.
Yeah, because I'm an old person when I say that I watch YouTube shorts. I had this college kid once say that. He's like, YouTube shorts. I was like, yeah, it's so funny. But it's great to watch like Hunter loves it when it's like painting stuff because they do a lot of painting.
Oh my gosh. I love the videos when like people clean driveways and paths or clear up gardens. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, or mats.
Even renovating furniture. I've been watching a lot of those videos of
anything
like
where
DIY.
it's like watching them redo something. I love them.
It's so cool. It makes me think I want a pressure hose.
Pressure hose, yeah. Pressure hose, yeah.
I just want one because it makes it look awesome. Yeah, for sure. I also think that there needs to be a sense of like submission and trust that God has got us. And that just goes back to what I said before of understanding who He is. We'll understand who we are.
Yeah.
And that way we're not living in this endless cycle of, I just want someone else's life. Because ultimately it means that we're not happy with our own lives and we're not settled with what's in front of us, which means we live. Oh, I just don't want that for us.
And I know this is such a cliche like way to look at things, but if you genuinely look at even third world countries, people who don't have it as good as we do, like plumbing, we've got plumbing, like things like that. I just think it doesn't take long for you to realize how lucky we are to even just live in the country we live in. Just living in Australia is such a blessing compared to other countries and what they're going through. It doesn't actually take much for you to realize you're rich. You're be grateful for what you have, and that you've got everything that you need. And what you need that is lacking will come because God is a provider. He is not going to leave you without. It's who He is. It's in His nature. So, yeah.
It's such a reflection though, as a mum, like on what we're teaching our kids too. Because if we're in a mindset of always wanting, and then when our kids, like they shouldn't be asking for a toy every time we go to the shops.
And yet they do.
They do, but as in like, that's what we're producing. We're producing kids that are always wanting something new, something
and it's getting
more
worse,
and all of
I
that.
find. Every generation is getting more and more like, what's next? What's next? What's next? I feel like my kids are all about what's next.
Yeah.
And both Reggie and I are like, are you
just
kidding
got it,
me?
yeah.
You just got this.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. But yet we're constantly living in a consumer
Right.
mindset.
But it just puts it into that perspective that when it's like, okay, what am I teaching my sons
How
about?
am I implicitly teaching?
Right. And they see what we do, not just hear what we say.
Yeah.
So I think it's such a perspective shift that I don't want my kids to like never be happy with what they've got, that they're always pursuing the next thing for the sake of consumerism, not for the sake of like, having drive in life. But I think it just makes us understand that we are very blessed with where we're living. But maybe this conversation has sparked kind of how we're viewing our lives. Yeah.
Hopefully it has.
Yeah.
I am, you are, we are so strong.